Are you saying that we should require state and local law enforcement to get a warrant before they fight back?
It depends on the condition. So in an exigent circumstance or something along the border.
I'm aware of the exceptions to the warrant requirement. But you, generally speaking, you want to require them to get a warrant.
Only for the search of a device or the seizure of property. There are also due process implications of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You started to mention another one of your objections.
First Amendment.
First Amendment. Okay. Any others?
Yeah, I also have a state rights, a 10th Amendment concern here, which is that states own the airspace adjacent to the land within their state that's not federally owned, and the current federal provisions don't recognize state sovereignty in that way.
Welcome back to Congress Lens. I'm Audrey. And wow, that clip you just watched was not entertainment. It was accountability. It was confrontation. It was a United States senator refusing to be danced around with legal gymnastics while public safety hangs in the balance. What you just saw between Senator John Kennedy and the witness wasn't disrespect. It was frustration with intellectual evasion. It was a lawmaker demanding clarity when the answer should have been simple. Bad actors are using drones. Law enforcement should be able to stop them. Period. But instead of a straight answer, what did we get? A cloud of hypotheticals, disclaimers, and constitutional footnotes that made one thing crystal clear. Some people would rather protect theory than protect citizens. And today, we're breaking down exactly why Senator John Kennedy's response was not only justified, it was necessary. Before we get into it, if you care about truth over talking points, facts over feelings, and leaders who actually say what they mean, hit subscribe, tap the like button, and share this video. Because Congress Lens exists to expose what's really happening when the cameras try to cut away. Let's get into the full breakdown.
The bad guys are using drones. Does anybody disagree with that? Okay. And the federal government has the authority to fight back, does it not? But nobody disagrees with that statement? Sure, Professor.
I would say within limits, yes. Within constitutional limits.
Okay. Do any of you disagree with giving state and local law enforcement the authority to fight back?
Again, within constitutional limits.
Okay. Tell me what your constitutional concerns are, Professor.
So I have three primary concerns. The first has to do with the Fourth Amendment and the conditions under which a warrant is required and a general warrant is forbidden by the Fourth Amendment. So in this particular case, it's important.
Professor, before you give me one of your lectures, are you saying that we should require state and local law enforcement to get a warrant before they fight back?
It depends on the condition. So in an exigent circumstance or something along the border.
I'm aware of the exceptions to the warrant requirement. But you, generally speaking, you want to require them to get a warrant.
Only for the search of a device or the seizure of property. There are also due process implications of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You started to mention another one of your objections.
First Amendment.
First Amendment. Okay. Any others?
Yeah, I also have a state rights, a 10th Amendment concern here, which is that states own the airspace adjacent to the land within their state that's not federally owned, and the current federal provisions don't recognize state sovereignty in that way.
So you want to give state and local law enforcement the authority to fight back, but you want to list a whole lot of conditions. Is that a fair assessment?
Not a whole lot, but some. There needs to be a nexus to the facility. It can't be any drone anywhere in America if you're concerned about a particular facility, but right now it's too broad. There have to be acknowledgments of First Amendment concerns. So for instance, limiting the covered facilities to the experience and logic test with which the courts use for right of public access, or prohibiting media bans across the board, or setting a time limit before and after special events so they don't extend extensively. This is what a number of state measures already do, and I'd like to see that at a federal level and apply to bring this within the constitutional limits.
Sounds like a lot of conditions to me.
No, not very many. As long as there's probable cause and the conditions are met, then absolutely you can.
Have you ever heard of a legislative practice called loving a bill to death?
Yes.
Okay. And that's when you take a bill and somebody says, I'm really for this bill. But then they add so many amendments and they screw it up so badly that the bill either becomes ineffective or doesn't pass. Is that a pretty accurate description?
Of the term?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're trying to love this to death, aren't you?
I disagree.
You're not really for giving law enforcement the power to fight back, are you?
I am in favor of giving law enforcement that power and respecting constitutional limits.
I don't believe you, Professor. Okay? You're not talking to Bambi's baby brother here. Okay? I've read some of your stuff. I think you'd be more intellectually honest if you just come out and say, I'm on the side of the bad guys here. I think we shouldn't give state and local law enforcement the authority to fight back. You're trying to make it as hard as possible, aren't you?
We'll have to disagree on that point, Senator.
Nah. You ever heard the expression, watch what they do, not what they say? I've watched what you've done. I know what you believe. Or you're on the FISA court?
I'm not on the court. No, I'm an amicus for the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court and the Court of Review.
Okay. Were you there when you guys issued all those bad warrants against Trump's people?
I can't discuss my work on the court, unfortunately.
Oh, it's top secret, right? You'd have to put me on the American people on double secret probation if you told them the truth, wouldn't you?
No. I can't discuss my matters that I've handled before the court. I can discuss the public ones where I've dealt with First Amendment concerns and the right to petition. I did an extensive history looking at that right
I'm done,
to petition.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Kennedy. We're going to turn it over to Senator Blumenthal.
Thanks, Madam Chair.
Let's be honest. This entire exchange boiled down to one simple reality. Senator John Kennedy asked a direct question. Should state and local law enforcement be able to fight back against criminal drones? And the witness couldn't give a direct answer to save their life. Instead of yes or no, we got a buffet of, it depends, constitutional constraints, possible violations, hypothetical situations, long-term concerns, future implications. That's not leadership. That's avoidance with a law degree. Now let's be clear. No one, including Senator Kennedy, said the Constitution doesn't matter. What Kennedy challenged was something much deeper. When criminals use modern technology to commit crime, government cannot respond with 18th century hesitation. Because while lawyers are debating possibilities, criminals are flying drones right now. And the witness admitted it. So why stall enforcement with layer after layer after layer of red tape? At some point, delay becomes denial. And Kennedy saw through it immediately. Fire the love the bill to death moment. When Kennedy said the witness was trying to love the bill to death, that wasn't sarcasm. That was experience talking. This is what politicians and lawyers do when they don't want a policy to pass. They don't oppose it loudly. They suffocate it quietly. Add condition after condition. Add exceptions after exceptions. Add vague language. Add delayed approvals. Until the law is so useless it might as well not exist. Kennedy called that out in real time. And instead of the witness owning it, they hid behind the word constitutional. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. The Constitution is not a shield for political cowardice. Defending civil liberties is important. But hiding behind civil liberties while criminals operate freely is negligence. Balance scale about the FISA moment. Let's talk about the FISA reference, because that hit hard. Kennedy didn't pull that out of nowhere. He challenged the witnesses' credibility because credibility matters when you're advising Congress. If someone previously supported surveillance practices, warrants, or secret court rulings under FISA, then suddenly becomes overly cautious only when law enforcement wants power, that's not legal consistency. That's selective philosophy. And Kennedy exposed that contradiction without blinking. Collision: why Kennedy was right. What Kennedy demanded was simple: accountability, clarity, action, honesty. And when he didn't get it, he didn't pretend. He didn't coddle. He didn't entertain half answers. He confronted it. That's not bullying. That's leadership. Not everyone will like Kennedy's tone. But leadership isn't about sounding nice when lives are at stake. It's about being clear when silence is dangerous. Final thought. This exchange wasn't about drones. It was about whether government works for citizens or for process. And Senator John Kennedy made his position crystal clear. He stands with protection over paralysis, action over ambiguity, public safety over policy poetry. And that, right there, is why this moment mattered.